bring that fire.
I'm doing good too. I'm ready. I'm ready for all y'all can have.
All right, cool. So let's jump straight to it. And the first topic we're going to talk about are the undefeated Chicago Bulls. So the Chicago Bulls made some great transactions over the summer. They brought in DeMar DeRozan, Alonzo Ball. And Zach LaVine had his first All-Star appearance last year and also was part of that USA team that won the gold medal. Right now, the Bulls are sitting at 4-0. So, Javon, I'm going to dish this first question to you. Where do you rank the Bulls right now in the East?
Well, for me, right now in the East, I'm getting the Bulls top three. They top three to me. Top three East team. The Nets, they still a little shaky right now, getting things together. The Bucks are still the Bucks, but right now they're still getting things together as well. So I'm going with the Bulls. They added those two guys you just named. Don't forget about Caruso, who's a really good glue player. He does a lot of everything, the intangibles, those type of guys. You really need those type of guys to win in this league. And also, we can't forget about the addition they made last year by adding Vucevic. Now, he's an instant 15-10 center who can also give you 20 and 10 every night if he needs to. But right now, they have three guys on their team that can average 20 a game, that have averaged 20 a game in this league. They have a point guard who's a pure point guard who can hit the three now, and he's a great defender. I really think they have the making of a great team to really finish top three in the East. And right now, they're really rolling. They haven't really played a tough opponent. I think the toughest opponent they played was the Raptors, and it was a close game. They do have a test tonight against the Knicks, though, which I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out, because those are two new powerhouses in the East. So for me, I got them third, top three, minimum.
Yeah, I think the Bulls could be a top 4, top 5 team. I think I only put the Nets, the Bucks, maybe the Heat in front of them. So I'll probably have them at number 4. And like you said, with the acquisition, Alonzo, Vucevic, DeRozan, with all of them, I think they could really make a run. I think I'll predict Alonzo to have a breakout season this year. And this year, he's averaging 14, 5, and 5, shooting over 40% from the three-point line. And them decent numbers considering LaVine giving you 25 a game, DeRozan giving you 22, Vucevic giving you 14, 11. I think if you ain't the Nets or the Bucks, I think the Bulls could knock off any team in the East. So I don't think no team in the East safe for them besides the two I named.
All right. So look, now the Bulls, I do like their moves, like y'all said and everything. Now me, I have the Bulls, when it's all said and done, I think they'll be either the 5th or 6th best team. All right, and I'm gonna tell y'all who I got in front of them. I got the Nets in front of them, of course. You know, I got Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee in front of them. I'll put Miami in front of them. I'll put the Knicks. I think the Knicks would be a better team than them, like overall, than the Bulls this year. And I can put the Hawks. All right, the Hawks above them. But definitely the Knicks, though. Definitely the Knicks. Let me tell you why. Like the Knicks, if you look at them last year, they were a good team. They finished 4th in the East last year, and they only had 2 scores for real that can get a buck on their own. And when they got to the playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks, their issue was when the game slowed down, Randall didn't play good, and D Rose was the only guy really that can give him a bucket. Adding Kemba Walker was a good piece to him. Now, Kemba Walker is a liability, of course, on the defensive end, but offensively, he can create his own shot. And then you got Fournier. I know Fournier, Javon, you know about him, right? Fournier is a great shooter. You know, he spaces the floor out. We all saw him when he did prime time against the Celtics. He had over 30 points. He's capable of doing that. And that's what the Knicks need, because with Randall, he improved his three-point shooter last year. I think he shot over 40% last year from the three, and that's what changed his whole game. The Knicks already are a great defensive team. I think the Knicks, out of all the teams I named, they are the best defensive team, especially with Tom Thibodeau at the head coach position, right? But as far as the Bulls, now they do have Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, he's going to be another All-Star. He's going to have another great year. Last year, his year went undermined because people didn't watch the Bulls for real. You know, but him coming back from the USA team and everything, he's going to be better. DeRozan is good. Lonzo, like he said, I don't think he's going to have a breakout season, but I do think he's in his right role of being the head point guard. Like, it's clear cut. Nobody's in his way, right? He has full control of that. But defensively, that's what I'm worried about with the Bulls, is on the defensive side. You know, DeRozan has never been known as a great defender. Zach LaVine has never been known as a great defender. Lonzo, probably the only one for real, is known as a great defender. Now, they could be good defensively because they're athletic, but it has to be improvement. And Knicks, on the other hand, they improve offensively, and they're already a good defensive team. So I got the Knicks above them, and I think the Bulls are at least the fifth best team in the league.
So
you go ahead, Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
okay.
Get him,
So
Tony.
the thing with the Knicks is I don't know if you can really trust Kemba Walker, because he injury prone and he inconsistent.
That's facts. And another thing, same with Fournier. He's a good shot maker at times, but you know, can you rely on these guys? I feel like the Bulls have more guys that they can rely on. Like Zach LaVine is better than the Knicks' best player. DeRozan, he's a guy you can rely on. I feel like, and Vucevic, he's instant double-double. Like it's instant. Like he gets double-doubles in his sleep. So I like the Knicks. I feel like the Knicks will finish like fourth. But as far as, I don't think they'll be better, but I think the Bulls have more firepower than them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with y'all offensively. Offensively, they could probably score with anybody. You know what I mean? It's just defensively I'm worried about. And then you look at the East. I know Jamal, you see have them third. I mean, I don't have them but Miami. Miami a better team than them. Miami better than them defensively, and Miami can score the basket too. I think you talking about Alonzo having a leap year. I think Tyler Hero is gonna play much better than he did last year. Like, I don't think he's gonna be an all-star, but Tyler Hero had a bad year last year after the bubble. He's gonna increase this year. And then you look at the Nets and the Bucks are already automatic locks 1 and 2, I think everybody's opinion. And then I got Miami third. So Bulls, they're not third, in my opinion. Because defensively, they can't hold up defensively. Like Vucevic, right? Vucevic is great offensively, but defensively, he's not great at all. And his shooting, I know it's early in the season, but even the preseason, his three-point shooting hasn't been bad. Preseason, his three-point shooting hasn't been bad. So far the season, his three-point shooters have been bad. And the Bulls haven't played nobody. Like Bulls, like you said, all they played the Detroit Pistons twice. They played the Pelicans and the Raptors. Now we gonna see the Bulls up and coming. Like you look at their schedule up and coming. In the next 14 games, they got the Knicks twice, Philly twice, Jazz, Boston, Nets, Mavericks, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Portland, Denver, and even the Pacers with a healthy Karis LeVert. Right now they don't have LeVert, so they're looking mediocre right now. But right now we haven't really seen the Bulls. They look exciting right now because they ain't played nobody. So and then you look at they team, right? Right now, rebounding, they're doing terrible at rebounding. Right now, they're winning their games is off their star power against these opponents they have right now. So they haven't really played an opponent that we can see them being tested for real on the defensive end. So that's why, I mean, the Knicks are proved. I know you say you can't trust Kemba Walker and Fournier, but they're not their primary guys. Their primary guy is Julius Randle. And then, believe it or not, Derrick Rose off the bench is probably their second option. And then Kemba Walker is like a savior for that moment if they can't get a bucket down stretch in the playoffs. So that's why I got the Knicks better than the Bulls this year.
I feel you on that. The thing about my top, I don't have the Nets finishing top 3. Right now, how they're looking really shaky right now due to James Harden. It's like he doesn't know what to do out there. I don't want to get too deep into the Nets, but I got the Bulls, the Bucks, and the Heat finishing top 3, and the Knicks. Those are my top 4 teams that's finishing the East. Not saying the Nets still won't make a run in the playoffs. They have those 2 great players, and Kyrie might come back still. But as far as winning games in the season, I feel like as far as the standings, I feel like the 3 teams will be the Bulls, because the Bulls are a team, I feel like they're not going to lose no bum teams. Just like you just said, they crushing bum teams. The Nets are the type of team I feel like that can slip up against a bum team. Because they have 2 players really. To be honest, Aldridge has to come into his own. I get that. What guards do they really have other than James Harden? Don't worry, I'll wait. But they got Joe Harris. I mean, we saw Joe Harris last year in the playoffs. He disappeared. So, they have a lot of question marks to me. Without Kyrie, they look like a different team. I really think they're still a great team because of KD and Harden, of course. Harden has to get his act together, but I feel like him getting his act together will cause them to lose games. And then they're going to have to fight. Not fight, but they have to they're going to put them in a position as far as like fifth or sixth in the East. That's how I'm looking at the Nets right now.
All right, so great session right there. Awesome session. So look, we're gonna go into our next topic. And speaking of the Nets, that's our next topic. We're gonna talk about the Nets. So stick around. We're gonna go into that topic after the break. So right now, the NBA champion favorites are sitting at 2-3, the Brooklyn Nets. All their losses have been in double digits so far. Their only wins right now are against the Wizards and the Philadelphia 76ers. Right now, Kyrie is obviously out due to the vaccine issue. So look, I'm gonna kick this first question to you, Tony. Should the Nets still be favored right now to win the NBA championship?
I'm gonna say yeah. I picked them before the season. I'm gonna stick with it. They still got Kevin Durant. They still got James Harden. I know he's a little shaky right now, but I'm gonna put my trust in him to get it together before the season over. He got the whole season to get in shape because he claimed that he's not in shape. They got Patty Mills. I like that addition. They still got Joe Harris. I don't know why he's still there, because after last season's performance, I'd have locked him out the facility. And it seemed like his confidence being hurt this year, because last year he shot 47% from the three. This year he's shooting 34%. So, and he getting a lot of open shots. So he need to be at least giving us 40%. And I think the new rules probably affecting James Harden, but I feel like in the past, they used to give him ticky-tack fouls, and then when he get to the playoffs, they'll stop calling them, and then it'll affect his game. So now with them not calling them ticky-tack fouls, hopefully he can get used to it, and when the playoffs come, he'll already be able to adjust to it, and they'll make a run for the championship.
All right, so me personally, I do not think they should still be the favorites. All right, and they need Kyrie Irving. Believe it or not, they need Kyrie Irving for multiple reasons. First, let me talk about this team right now. First of all, the Milwaukee Bucks should be favorites to win the NBA Finals right now. And the reason why, because the Nets, starting with the rebounding, they rebounding is terrible. They have nobody in the paint right now that can compete with Milwaukee when it comes to rebounding, second chance points, all that stuff. If you look at the rebounding right now, KD and James Harden are leading their whole team in rebounding, and that's unacceptable. Right? Claxton is third, and he's only averaging 5 rebounds a game. So you got Claxton, you got Blake Griffin averaging 5 rebounds a game. You got LaMarcus Aldridge and Millsap averaging less than 5 rebounds a game, I believe, right? Also, they are fourth worst in the league right now. I know it's early, right? But these are signs. That's why I believe the Nets will have to make a move. If Kyrie doesn't come back, they're going to have to make a move by the trade deadline to get better, because with the roster they got right now, it's not going to work. Because like teams, like I said, against Milwaukee, they're going to get out rebounded. They're going to be a lot of second chance points. Because right now they're fourth worst in second chance points. They're allowing 15 points on a game on second chance. When I watched the Miami game, I felt like every time Deadman was in the game, he was getting a rebound. That's how I felt, right? Against Milwaukee, the only reason why the Bucks were winning because they took over 20 more shots than the Nets because of the offensive rebounding. All right. And then you look at the fast break point. Their defense is looking terrible right now. They're second worst in the league right now in fast break points. They're allowing 18 points per game. All right. So also coaching, Steve Nash. I don't think Steve Nash is a good coach. That's my opinion. All right. You can see like you mentioned the playoffs last year in the playoffs against the Bucks, the only reason why they won those games is because of KD heroics. It had nothing to do with coaching. The whole game plan was give it to KD and move out the way. And me personally, I don't think KD can do that on a consistent basis. That's the difference between KD and LeBron. See, KD relies too much, in my opinion, on his jump shot. If KD's off on his jump shot, it's a wrap. Right? Now, he does have the ability, of course, to go to the basket, but for some reason, he doesn't do that. LeBron James 2 or 3 years ago, I'm not even a LeBron fan, but LeBron James 2 or 3 years ago, he didn't really have a great jump shot, but he can get to the basket at will when the time is needed. And KD can't do that. You know, so me personally, I think they need Kyrie, because Kyrie is another guy when the game slows down, he can create his own shot. Now, I do agree with you with James Harden. I think he will adapt to these new rules. It's something temporary. And Javon, I don't think it's going to take half the season to do that. I think, probably within 2 weeks, he's going to be back to normal. He's got to adjust to new rules. But like Javon said, outside of James Harden and KD, they don't really have anybody. LaMarcus Aldridge is not rebounding the ball. Now I will say this: due time, their chemistry will get better, and I do think there will be a top 3 team, top 2 team for real. But I would pick the Bucks over now, only because the Bucks are bigger and they have way better chemistry than the Brooklyn Nets, because they got basically the same squad from last year. You know, the only person added was the guy from Duke. I forgot his name. The guy from Duke they brought over. But that's it. I don't have the Nets being the favorite right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't have them being the favorite either. And like you said, they really do need Kyrie. I agree with you on the point where KD relies on his jump shot too much, the mid-range. He does. And for me, the biggest thing is James Harden. I'm sorry. I've been a James Harden fan for the longest. But even in Houston, I complain about how he used to look for the fouls, always draw the fouls. Like, if you go back and look at all his stats, like, people think he's a great three-point shooter, but he never shot 40%. No season since he's been in the league. Since after the Rockets, he shot under 40% every time. He probably shot 10 threes, made 2 a game, things like that. So, and he shot 10 free throws a game almost every season. So I feel like he relies a lot on his 3-ball, the step back, the 3-ball, and he relies on them fouls too much. When I watch them play, he holds the ball too much. Like, another thing, he holds the ball too much. They have players on their team. That's another thing I don't like about James Harden. He holds the ball too much. They have, like, when I watched the first game, I'm gonna say the first game because this is like a measuring stick, because you're going against the Bucks. Those are the 2 best teams in the league. So we about to see what y'all really about. As I'm watching the game, KD he probably shot 2 shots in the first quarter, if that. James Harden was holding the ball too much, trying to find people. It was times he would dribble all the way in the paint and keep his dribble and dribble back out, trying to find somebody. Move the ball around. I feel like over time it can get better. I don't know how long it's going to take, to be honest, because what a lot of people fail to realize about this league now, it's a lot of young, hungry players out here. The Zach LaVines, the Julius Randles, you know, even LaMelo Balls, Trae Youngs. Like, it's a lot of young, hungry guys out here. They can slip up if they want, and, you know, and keep on. To be honest, they have a great team. They have everything they need to win. The only thing they lack is the defensive pressure and Kyrie. Kyrie is the guy that can get a bucket anytime, anywhere. I feel like he's the only person on that team that's really like that. KD, like you said, relies too much on just shooting a jumper over people. So, like I said, I agree with you. The Bucks are the favorite right now, not the Nets.
I agree that James Harden hold the ball too long. He do. I feel like he wastes the shot clock out way too much. He get the shot clock at like 5 seconds. Now you got to shoot a bad shot. But yeah. I do think the acquisition of Patty Mills will help them in the playoffs because he got experience. He played with the Spurs. He can hit some big shots. Obviously, they need Kyrie because you can't replace nobody like Kyrie, especially when nobody just picking them up off the street and nothing like that. And I do think they need to get a big body down there rebounding because they cannot rebound for nothing. Claxton, he way too little. He too light. He tall and slinky, but he can't keep Giannis off the glass. He couldn't keep Brook Lopez off the glass. He can't keep none of them big guys off the glass. So they most definitely gonna have to get some rebounding.
Yeah. All right, awesome. All right, cool, awesome. That was a great segment right there. Now we're gonna move to our next segment, and we talked about the Nets in the East. Now we gotta move on to the West and talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. So look, we'll see you after the break. Make sure you guys stick around. So right now, the Lakers are sitting at 2-3 right now in the West. They have brought in Westbrook over the season so that they can match the star power of the Brooklyn Nets. LeBron had missed the last 2 games due to his ankle injury, and the Lakers had given up a 26-point lead to the defeated OKC Thunder and lost, and giving the OKC Thunder the first win of the season. So I'm going to start this topic off, and the question is, who is the biggest threat in the West to the Lakers? And my answer are the Clippers. All right, it's the Clippers. All right, I knew we weren't going to agree. So look, this is why I said the Clippers. I believe they match up perfectly with the with the Lakers. All right, offensively and defensively, out of anybody else in the West. If you look at the Clippers offensively, they got shooters. All right, they got people that can stretch the flow out. They got people like Paul George that can stretch the floor out, Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann stretch the floor out, Morris, Marcus Morris do it, Luke Kennard, right, Batum, right? They all go stretch the floor out, which is great. And you look at their one-on-one score, they got 3 individuals on that team that can score on their own. They got Paul George, of course, that can score in his own. Reggie Jackson can score in his own. Even Marcus Morris, he has a lot of one-on-one buckets he can get on the one-on-one basis, right? Then they have multiple people who can handle the ball, which I think is very important in the playoffs, right? They got people like Bledsoe. Now, I'm not a big fan of Bledsoe, all right? I'm not a big fan of Bledsoe. I think Bledsoe is a downgraded Russell Westbrook, in my opinion. They both make bonehead decisions. They both are not great shooters, even though Eric Bledsoe is shooting pretty okay in the three-point range this year so far. But I think Eric Bledsoe is a big upgrade from Patrick Beverley, in my opinion. I think he's a better defender. Patrick Beverley is just a pest, but Eric Bledsoe is actually a good defender, in my opinion. He's a big body as a point guard, and when it comes to him guarding Westbrook, he'll be a good defender on Westbrook, in my opinion, right? And he's a good finisher at the rim too, Eric Bledsoe. Also, they have Reggie Jackson who could run a point, Terrence Mann, Paul George, and I like Zubac. Zubac is a great finisher at the rim, especially on the pick and roll in the paint, right? And you look at defensively, right? They brought in people like Winslow. Winslow is a great defender on the wing, all right? Like I already mentioned, Bledsoe is a great defender on the wing. They have 2 players that can guard LeBron. Of course, nobody can stop LeBron, but they got 2 players that can guard LeBron. They got Paul George who can guard LeBron and Morris. And this is without Kawhi Leonard. They're talking about Kawhi Leonard might possibly come back a little bit after the All-Star break. I don't know how much true that is, but they saying he might come back before the playoffs. So you add Kawhi to the mix, they'll definitely be the biggest threat to the Lakers. And then for AD, all right, you can put Morris on AD, and then we all forgot about Ibaka. Ibaka is still injured. Ibaka should be back in a couple of weeks, I believe. I know he just started having full contact in practice, so he should be back soon. So Ibaka, and I trust I trust Ty Lue over Frank Vogel. I think Ty Lue is a great coach. I think he's a coach that's not talked about. You look at what they did last year in the playoff run. That's another reason why I think they're a good threat to the Lakers, because of the confidence they built over last year's playoffs. All right, so I just think they are the biggest threat to the Lakers right now. I think they match up with them perfectly.
Okay. My team is the Golden State Warriors. I think they're the biggest threat because Klay hasn't come back yet. Once Klay come back and those Splash Brothers are back splashing, people forget. I forget if AD played in that play-in game against the Warriors last year. I think it was LeBron versus Steph that game. But they almost beat him. It was only LeBron hit that fluke. Oh my goodness, the flukest shot he ever hit in his career. But he got him there. But I feel like the Golden State Warriors, the biggest thing the Lakers, why they're losing right now, it's not just chemistry. Their defense is trash. Like, there's guys that's killing them that shouldn't even be doing none of that. Like, they gave a 26-point lead last night, even though LeBron didn't play, of course. But still, like, their defense has been trash every single game. I think every team has scored at least 115 on them. So I feel like with the Warriors, the Lakers that makes them so imposing, their size. They're big. What do the Warriors do? They make you play small. You can't run that big lineup against the Warriors when Steph, Klay, they got Wiggins, they got Poole now who's playing pretty good. And then once Klay comes back, I feel like Draymond will be back into his Draymond form because he feeds off those 2 guys. And we know what he does to Anthony Davis. I think we all know what he does to Anthony Davis. He just like strikes fear in his heart, I feel like. So I feel like the Lakers, they don't have enough defense right now. They have an opportunity to get it together, but they don't have that many defensive guys, to be honest. I think the only person I feel like is a good defender really is AD and kind of LeBron. Other than that, Rondo's a decent defender. But other than that, those guys don't have defenders. They have someone that can check LeBron and Wiggins. He can't stop him, but he's a great defender. They have Draymond who can check AD, and Westbrook, he can check himself. So, I feel like the Warriors have the most to beat the Lakers because they got firepower. You got to have firepower too. And I think they have firepower. To be honest, the Clippers, I don't have them making playoffs, but that's my take there. The Warriors.
I agree. It's the Warriors. The Warriors, they got Steph. They beat the Lakers the first game of the season, and Steph didn't even play good. They still got Draymond. Draymond, a great defender, like you said. He played great defense on Anthony Davis. They got Jordan Poole. They got Andrew Wiggins. Clay still got to come back. He's still a sniper. He probably gonna slip on the defense a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it ain't gonna affect his jump shot. And I got more faith in the Warriors than the Clippers. I just can't go with the Clippers because they ain't got Kawhi. I can't trust the Clippers without Kawhi. And I know Paul George played a little decent last year in the playoffs, but I'm not gonna trust Paul George. I'm not gonna put my faith in him, especially not to beat LeBron. So I can't say the Clippers. And another thing is with the Warriors, I just feel like they can get so hot and they can rain so many threes. And sometimes the Lakers could struggle with hitting threes. And I think with the Lakers having Russell Westbrook, he really ain't got no space out there on the offensive end with LeBron and Anthony Davis. And he can't really go to the hole, especially when they playing big because the hole be so crowded with Anthony Davis in the hole. They have DeAndre Jordan down there sometimes, Dwight Howard down there sometimes, and Westbrook can't shoot. So I think that'll get the Warriors a big advantage. So I think I got to say the Warriors.
Yeah. So now I do agree. Like the Warriors, far as the first game of the season, they beat the Lakers while still playing great. But you gotta look at the Warriors. Their team, they already have that chemistry. You gotta realize when it comes to these new like whenever you add a superstar to the team, look at the Nets last year. In the beginning of the season, they were terrible in defense. They were like they were in the bottom of the league in defense. And then towards the end of the season, they became a middle of the pack defense. Because when it comes to a new team, it takes time to create chemistry on the defensive end. So I'm not going to expect the Lakers to be great defensively right now. Now, you look at the Lakers last year and the year before that, they didn't have individual great defenders, but they were a top 3 defensive team because they built chemistry over the 2 years ago in the bubble season. So I do think that's going to pick up. Now, the Warriors are just too small. All right, the Warriors too small. I know everybody I don't know about this theory about Draymond, Anthony Davis. When Anthony Davis played against Draymond his whole career, he averaged 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And he never shut down AD. You look at that series when New Orleans played the Warriors in that series, AD was unstoppable. They only lost that series because the Warriors were a better team. And you look at it, so Draymond has never shut down AD. The Warriors have no bigs. Looney is not really a big. Looney can't do nothing with AD. And then also you gotta realize the Lakers do have shooting. If you when they get their fourth roster back, they have shooting. Remember, Wayne Ellington is hurt. What's the guy name? Horton Tucker Jr. is hurt. They got plenty of players that they signed over the season, over the all season that are not even playing right now. So obviously they don't have all the shooters. So when you put AD at the 5, they will be able to stretch the floor. The only person that won't be able to hit a 3 is Westbrook. But I do think they will pick up the defensive end. And you want to talk about 3-point shooting? The Clippers led the league last year in 3-point shooting. So the Clippers are a good 3-point shooting team also. So they could get hot. They led the league in 3-point shooting and free throw shooting. So they were the best shooting team last year. But of course, I know with Clay coming back, the Warriors are going to surpass that. But that's why on defensively, the Warriors are good also, but they are not big enough for the Lakers for a 7-game series, in my opinion. But I do have the Warriors going to the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. But I have the Clippers getting knocked off by the Lakers in the second round. But I think the Clippers, especially with Kawhi coming back, if Kawhi comes back, they will be definitely the biggest threat to the Lakers right now.
So they got injuries, but the Warriors got guys out as well. Like we said, Clay out, Wiseman is out. And also the rookie they got this year, Kuminga, he hasn't played yet. Then you also got to remember they brought back Iggy, who's playing pretty good, if you ask me. A lot of guys said he would have lost a step on the defensive end, and no, he looked the same he was when he left the Warriors. And with Clay coming back, I feel like the Lakers not going to be able to run small ball. They can't run big ball. When you got Draymond at 5, I'm not sure who had the 4, probably Iggy, Wiggins at the 3, Clay at the 2, and Steph Curry at the 1. You can't have DeAndre Jordan out there. And AD. You can't do that. You can't. DeAndre, they're not going to be big in the fourth quarter because DeAndre Jordan can't shoot free throws. So he's not going to be in the game. So they'll have Carmelo Anthony out there, no defense. AD, he plays defense. And who else? Westbrook, 50. LeBron, he's getting a lot of injuries right now. So we got to watch that as well. Last year, he got an injury that took him out. and they had to fight in the play-in to get back in the playoffs. This year, he picked up Westbrook. I'm guessing because of that, that's why he got Westbrook. But my thing about the Westbrook pickup, like Tony said, he doesn't fit. It's not that he can't fit, but his style that he's been playing his whole career, it doesn't fit with the Lakers. So you see when LeBron sits out those 2 games, Russ is Russ because LeBron isn't out there. But can he play with LeBron and still be impactful and not hurt the team? That's the biggest question. I feel like the Warriors already have that chemistry. They're going to just build on that. And it's just going to be tough for the Lakers to really beat them if their defense don't get cleaned up.
Yeah, I think the Lakers ain't gonna be able to play big against the Warriors either, because them big men ain't gonna be able to chase them little guards. When they running around all them screens, shooting them threes, them big men ain't gonna be able to chase them guards. So I can't, and I don't think Kawhi gonna come back. Kawhi is a person who he load manage. He get any kind of injury, he's sitting down. So he's not gonna come off no ACL injury in the middle of this season and play. I just don't see it.
Facts.
Yeah, when I say too small, I was talking about AD. I was talking about AD because for some reason it's this myth out here that Draymond does a great job on AD.
He did a decent job on him in the play-in game last season.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He did do a good job on that one game. But overall, AD in the playoff, the last time he matched up with the Warriors in playoffs, AD went off. The only reason why they lost is because they were just overly matched. They were just a better team than the Pelicans that year. And DeMarcus Cousins got hurt; he wasn't there. So AD is basically it's him. But AD is inconsistent. I know that he can't be dependent on himself. But I just think the Warriors, that's a huge mismatch, and the Clippers are a better matchup to the Lakers defensively, I believe, to them. Now, offensively, the Warriors, I mean, come on now, they can score anybody. They got Steph. They got stuff over there. And that chemistry, their chemistry is so beautiful. They move the ball so well. It's a well-oiled machine. It's a Spurs on steroids, basically. So that is a good pick, the Warriors, but I still got the Clippers though.
Clippers don't got enough offense. Bledsoe can't shoot. I mean, Luke Kennard can shoot, but Markieff Morris can kind of shoot. These guys aren't like snipers, They probably led the league last year, but that's what Kawhi on the floor. All that attention is on Paul George and all them other guys. So now it's like, it's not 2 guys out there taking the heat off you. It's only 1 guy. And can that 1 guy take that much heat off you? I don't think so. The Clippers this year, they got a lot to work on, you ask me. Especially without Kawhi.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right, another great segment. And then we got 3 more questions we're going to hit y'all with after this break. And then after that, we're going to be done. So stick around and we'll see y'all after the break. All right, welcome back to Refuse to Lose, the weekend special, part 4. So look, we got 3 more questions we're going to hit you guys with. It's going to be back to back. And the first question, we're going to dish it out to Javon. So Javon, which player will make their first All-Star appearance this year?
It's hard to not pick this guy. He's balling out of control. I knew he had it in him. Just been waiting for him to show everybody. I think last year in the playoffs, when they played, he showed everybody just how great he can be, and he's picking up where he left off this season. And that's my boy, Ja Morant. And it's going to be crazy because most point guards don't make it because there's so many great point guards. Like, you have to really be great to make the All-Star game. Because you already have CP3, you got Steph and Dame in the West. But I still think he's going to make it because he's averaging 30 points right now. Every single game this year, he scored at least 20, 28 points. Last game he had 17, but he had 10 assists, 9 rebounds, almost a triple-double. So he's playing lights out. Their team rides with him, dies with him. He's Showtime, he's box office, he's all that. Like, he got the moves, he got the ups. Like, he's crazy. He got a human highlight reel. Like, he's perfect for the All-Star game. And he's putting on a show every night, showing why he deserves to be in there. So that's my pick, Ja Morant.
I want to go with Ja Morant too, but it's too many tough guards in the West, I feel like. But he is playing out of control right now. So I'm going to go with LaMelo Ball in the East because I feel like they ain't got that many great guards over there. I feel like he can make it. He might have a breakout year this year. He averaged 19 points per game. His team winning. So I'm going to go LaMelo Ball. He got a lot of popularity. That's important for All-Star game because it's all about popularity. So I'm going to go with LaMelo Ball. But I love the pick of Ja Morant.
Yeah. So the two people I wrote down was LaMelo and John Morant, right? But I'm gonna go with John Morant, and for both of the reasons y'all said. Number one, he's been balling. All right, he's been balling, and people have been waiting for him. People have been waiting for him a while. You look at the All-Star voting last year. He basically almost been the All-Star team last year. Based on the voting, based on the fan voting. So he has the popularity. He's that guy that talks. You know what I mean? So he's a fan favorite. So he's that guy that like when like he's competing at you, he's gonna talk trash to you. And people like that. It draws attention. It's a show. It's entertainment. And people like that for the All-Star game. And also the Grizzlies, I think they're gonna be playing better. And he's getting a lot more primetime games. You look at it already. He already got three, I think 3 or 2 primetime games already in the season started. And a lot of those votings happen because people watch you. Like last year, I was surprised Zach LaVine made it because people barely watch the Bulls. And then like last year, I'm a Kings fan, right? De'Aaron Fox averaged 25 points last year, but it went unnoticed because nobody watches the Kings. But when you look at John Morant and the Grizzlies, they are putting on primetime show a lot. So far, I think they will the rest of the season. I think I looked at the schedule, and they're going to be in front of everybody's faces. So, and then when you look at the point guards, there are a lot of great point guards. Now, 2 guards start for the All-Star game, 2 guards on the bench, which is 4, and they have 2 wild cards. So it could be 2 guards or it could be 2 forwards. All right. So I believe those 2 wild cards most likely will be guards because there are not a lot of centers out here that people are voting for the All-Star game. And then there are already three bigs basically, and those 3 bigs could be 3 forwards, and we've seen that happen a lot. So those 2 wild cards can easily be 2 point guards, and that make it 6 point guards in the West. And I think John Morant can make that. I think he can make it over people like Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell last year, they were the number 1 seed. That's the only reason why he made it, I believe. He's number 1 seed. He only averaged 23 points a game last year. I think John Morant stat line will be better than Donovan Mitchell this year. Might not win more games, but the stat line will be, and he's way more box office than Donovan Mitchell. So he will get the fan vote over him, and he will get the player vote over him. It's just the fact that the media, I think the media will vote him over him. So I do think John Morant will make his first All-Star appearance this year myself.
Yeah, I think they both gonna make it.
Yeah, that's true. LaMelo.
Yeah, LaMelo was a good pick too. I ain't gonna lie, that was a real good pick. That was a real good pick. But I want to piggyback what you said about Ja, how like the fans love him. It was a clip. I forgot what game it was, but he was balling out of control. He told the crowd, he like, y'all got me. Y'all got 12. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can rely on me. And yeah, I just love that about him. He's a natural born leader. So yeah, I hope both of them make it though, to be honest, because I like both of their games.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you of the Iverson effect. Not saying he's good as Iverson. You know how Iverson used to feed off the crowd a lot? So like that,
yeah.
And that's how John Morant did. I remember Iverson used to do that, play my favorite song, I get the crowd moving. John Morant the same way. And then he's a show. Alley-oop. Yep. He got that block on the first game of the season. And the alley-oop, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And LaMelo, the highlight reel himself, So, and then it's probably easier for LaMelo to make it because he's in the East. And there's less guards that's great in the East versus the West. So, right. Yeah, they both probably make it. All right, cool. So look, the next question, I'm gonna dish it to you, Tony. All right. So, which playoff team last year will miss the playoffs this year?
I'm gonna have to go with the Wizards. They made it last year, but they lost Russell Westbrook. But I don't think they'll be that. They barely made it last year with Russ, so they just lost him. I don't think they'll make it. I think the Hornets will get their spot this year. I just ain't got much faith in the Wizards. I never really did, so I'm gonna have to say they're gonna be the one that's fall out this year.
Okay. So look, being the guy from the DC area, a lot of people gonna hate that take, all right? But I'm not a Wizards fan though. I don't root for the Wizards and that stuff. But I do think the Wizards improved though. I think, to be honest with you, I think they'll be better this year than they were last year. Because Westbrook, I like the Dinwiddie pickup. You know what I mean? I love that pickup. I like the trade they made for Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell, all that stuff. But my team, I think this team will make it to the play-in as probably a 7 or 8 seed, and they'll get knocked out in the play-in. And that's a 76ers. I mean, Philly. I think Philly's gonna make it. All right? Because look, first of all right, Joel Embiid. I don't know what to expect from Joel Embiid. You look at there's 2 things about Joel Embiid is not consistent. his play, and his injuries. All right, his injury, I don't know if he's gonna be injured 10 games from now, out for another 50. I don't know about that. And then his play, if you see the season, see how the season's been so far, he's been so inconsistent. He's averaging under 20 points a game. All right, he's also averaging, I think, averaging 22 points a game, and he averaging 6 rebounds a game. So he's not even playing hard. I think this Ben Simmons situation is really detrimental to all their mental, everybody. And then when Steph Curry is a great shooter, but whenever Steph Curry is one of your primary scorers, you're not going to be a great playoff team. And so far for the season, I think Tobias Harris took more attempts than him. So I don't think people fear Philly anymore. I think people don't even fear Joel Embiid. You look at the Knicks game, they were going right at Joel Embiid. Like he doesn't even look like a rim attack at all. He's terrible in the pick and roll, and he settled too much for jump shots. You look at his play right now, he's not dominant like he was last year. Most of the time he gets the ball, it's out on the wing, or it's out on the three-point line, right? Or it's out in the mid-range. But he's always in the triple threat mode when he's getting the ball, or he's trying to post up outside the paint. I'm like, what are you doing? So I don't trust him. I don't trust Philly this year. And I've never been a Doc Rivers fan. I think Doc Rivers is overrated. I think his claim to fame is from the Boston Celtics year. And that's when he had the best team in the league. I mean, you had one of the best defensive teams in NBA. You look at that roster, that's one of the best defensive teams in NBA history, alongside great offense with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and KG. So outside of that, Doc Rivers is an orchestra of 3-1 loss. Sorry, 4 now. 3-1 comebacks, right? He lost to Atlanta last year. I don't think it had nothing to do with Ben Simmons. Of course, Ben Simmons had something to do with it, but most of that because of Doc Rivers coaching, in my opinion. A lack of adjustment. So I don't trust Doc Rivers. I don't trust Embiid. I think they're going to be a huge upset and miss a playoff this year.
It's not a bad pick at all. Neither one of y'all picks. But I do agree with you about the Wizards. I think they did get a little better because of Westbrook is gone. But my pick, and Joe, you might be shocked because this is your power. This is your team. This is your team. The Clippers. I think they might make the play-in, but I don't think they got enough firepower to win. I just don't. They're well coached, of course, but I don't think they have enough firepower. Like, just look at their roster. They don't have enough shooting. You said they led the league last year in threes, but right now they're shooting 30%. And I don't see them. I really don't see them. I don't see them doing nothing. I see them possibly making the play-in, like a 9th seed or something like that. Then I see them falling after that. Bar no injuries from no other teams, things like that. I did see the Jokic got injured, but barring injuries, I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs this year. I think they're gonna take a step back this year because they don't have Kawhi. And Kawhi really is the guy there. I mean, Paul George is the skill guy, I feel like the guy that can shoot threes, he got the moves, and he can set players up and things, but I think Kawhi is that guy that they need out there, but don't even feel like they're going to be that. They can be great.
Now, look, let me rebuttal on that. So, look, when I look at three-point shooting right now, that's not going to tell the story. The only time I try to look at, I look at things like that got something to do with your effort, like rebounds, second chance points, like that. But when it comes to the shooting, all that stuff can change. Because right now, when it comes to three-point shooting, they're shooting better than Phoenix is second worst in the league. But we don't think Phoenix is a terrible three-point shooting team. They're second worst in the league in three-point percentage. Dallas Mavericks they were the number 1 offense last year. And right now, they're the 3rd worst three-point shooting team in the league right now. So let's stay early with that. And then you look at their roster, I think they have, when you have a regular season roster, you got to have a deep roster. And the Clippers have one of the most deepest rosters in the NBA right now. If you look at it from top to bottom, they got a lot of people they can put in their rotation. That's similar to the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz have a deep rotation. That's why they're able to have success last year in the regular season. So I look at the Clippers as similar to that. And then you look at Paul George. The last time he played without Kawhi, he was an MVP candidate. I think Paul George will take that another leap this year. I think this year, he's not going to be MVP, of course, but he will get some MVP talks. I think the Clippers are going to win a lot of games. I got them finish as a 3rd seed. All right, I got them finish the 3rd seed. And I think Paul George is going to be playing great, and he's going to be getting some MVP talks, kind of similar to what Chris Paul did last year. So I definitely don't have them miss the playoffs.
So you say last time without Kawhi, he's MVP. Come on, OKC?
OKC, MVP candidate with Westbrook.
Well, he had another superstar with him still. That's the thing. he wasn't just that guy out there. He had a backup. He don't have backup this year. Like Reggie Jackson is cool. Eric Bledsoe subpar at best. And other than that, they don't have nobody. They have all just role players. Now with the Jazz, they're a little better because they have guys like Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson and Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich and Jordan Clarkson can drop 30 any game and win you a game. I don't see nobody on this list other than Paul George, really. Reggie Jackson, I don't see him doing that really as consistently as a Jordan Clarkson or Bogdanovich. Then they have a rim protector in Rudy Gobert, and don't have nothing like that over there. So they're not like the Clippers. They're not as deep as the Clippers. I mean, as the Jazz, if you ask me. And I don't think I'm a Paul George fan. I love Paul George. I don't see him being no MVP candidate this year at all, though. I'm sorry, I just don't.
So who you think gonna make it over the Clippers then?
Over the Clippers? Are we gonna get there? Believe that. We gonna get there. Yes, sir. I can't tell you yet. I gotta save it for the answer the question.
Okay. So let's get right to our last question. And so last question, I start this off too. Which team will have a Cinderella, kind of similar to the Hawks last year? Which team will have a Cinderella story and make a playoff run this year? So me personally, I think it's gonna be the Knicks. I think the Knicks can make a good playoff run this year. And the reason why is because of their defense. Like they improve their offense. It's not much to be said. They improve their offense. Number one, they're in the East. Let's say it's out there. They're in the East right now. They're improved offensively, and last year they were a great defensive team, and they're going to continue that trend. And also, it all depends on matchup. All right, if my playoff picture, I got them playing Atlanta Hawks once again in the first round, and I think they could beat the Hawks in the first round. And then the second round, they could be playing somebody like Miami, and I think they can have an opportunity to beat Miami in the second round. You know, so, and then the third round, of course, they might lose that, but I got the Knicks. I think the Knicks, because any other team in the East I can think about, I know people might say the Bulls, but people have high expectations on the Bulls. But a lot of people don't have high expectations on the Knicks. They got the Knicks being a first round team, maybe the playoffs, and getting bounced. But I got the Knicks probably winning at least once their first series and possibly 2 series in playoffs this year.
My team gonna shock y'all. I know it is. It's the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that's a team I think that's gonna be better. That's gonna get the Clipper spot this year. And it might be in the play-in, you know. I just really like what I see out of their big three over there in Minnesota. Cat, D'Angelo Russell, and Anthony Edwards seem like they're finding their rhythm together. When you watch the interviews, listen to what these guys are saying, it sounds like they're trying to win. They're trying to get guys involved. They're trying to do it the right way. Then they still have a guy like Malik Beasley off the bench. Last year, I think he averaged almost 20 points. And I think they really have a chance to shock a lot of people this year. Really, because I think it's really the Edwards effect. I really like this kid. He has a good motor on him. I feel like he's going to be a great one day. He has that attitude on him. And I think it's rubbing off on the rest of the game. If you look at their stats, Cat's averaging 28 right now. I know it's early. And Anthony Edwards averaging 25, and then 18 by Russell. Then they have Malik Beasley. He hasn't really played that well so far, only because I feel like he's coming off his injury from last year. They still got the kid, Okigi. I can't pronounce his name. Okigi. He's a pretty good player, I believe. And then the pickup of Patrick Beverly, it just makes them more of a tenacious team, I feel like. So I'm going with the Timberwolves. I got them possibly upset somebody in the first round, but I don't really see them going no further than that, really. I just see them, that's their Cinderella story, making the playoffs and getting the team out of there. I got them beating a team like the Portland Trailblazers. I got them beating a team like that.
I think the Timberwolves on the come up, but I'm gonna go with the Grizzlies because of Ja Morant. I think he's gonna start entering superstar status probably this season. I could see him averaging from 25, 27 points per game this season. I could see them winning the series this season. They pushed the Jazz last year. He played tremendous. And they got Bang giving them 19 this year. They still got Jackson. He getting them 13. Dylan Brooks ain't even came back yet. He a great defensive player, and he can shoot. So I got the Memphis Grizzlies. They could win possibly 1 or 2 series this season.
Yeah, I like that Memphis pick. But the Timberwolves, I don't know.
Cinderella. Yeah. Both teams I think made the playoffs last year.
I think Yeah, I think the Timberwolves remind me of Charlotte in the West, but worse. You know what I mean? I do think Charlotte will make a play-in, and they will have the opportunity to make the playoff. But I don't think Minnesota's gonna make the play-in. And then even if they do make the playoffs, they would not be playing Portland in the first round because Portland is not gonna have home court advantage yet. Portland's gonna be a bottom eight. They're gonna be probably a 7 seed or a 6, 8 seed, something like that. So if they play in the first round, they're gonna be playing one of the top tier teams. But I don't see them making the playoffs. I think right now it's exciting. Now I do think Anthony Edwards is gonna make a leap next year. I think next year he's gonna make a tremendous leap, in my opinion. All right, kind of similar to what everybody's seeing from John Morant. But this year, I just don't think I don't think they're ready. And you gotta look at the West is really deep. The rest is real deep. I mean, you got a team. If I look at the playoff picture, you got to look at people like Phoenix, Denver, the Lakers, and then you can take the Clippers out. Utah, of course, you got teams. Let me pull it up. But I have the Clippers third. All right. I don't even see the Clippers finishing number 7, but I have the Clippers at third. All right. So you look at the playoffs. You look at the West. You got people like the Suns. You got the Warriors. You got the Jazz. You got the Nuggets, the Lakers. I mean, you think they would be better than the Mavericks? You got the Mavericks. You know, you also got the Blazers. I mean, I could throw the Blazers in there. And then the play-in, you got teams like the Grizzlies, right? I think the Kings will be able to have a better record than Minnesota this year. All right. I think the Kings improved defensively. You know, last year they were already a great offensive team. They just need to improve it defensively. I think the Kings could possibly get that last play-in spot, but Minnesota, I don't think they will.
Minnesota probably like a year or two off, but I could see them upcoming though, but probably not this year.
Yeah, I think Anthony Edwards next year gonna make a huge leap.
I really just don't like.
He probably gonna make that leap this year.
Yeah, I think he already averaging 25, and he already know what he's capable of.
Confident
too. They didn't have their big 3, so this year they got their big 3. I feel like they're gonna build that chemistry and they're gonna upset somebody. I really do. They got the star power with the offensive power. It just the only question I have for them is how well they're gonna perform on the defensive end. But right now, I'm liking what I'm saying, and they're looking like a Cinderella story in the making.
Don't sleep on the Grizzlies though. They got a taste of that playoffs. They got a taste of being in the playoffs. The first year they got Javon Jordan, they lost in the play-in. Then the second year they won, beat Curry in the play-in. Then went to the playoffs, played the Jazz hard. I could see them really make some noise this year and probably going on a little run until they run into the Lakers or the Warriors.
Yeah,
I do like them. Sorry, Joe, but I do like the Grizzlies because of John Morant. I just don't like how they don't have no more no rebounder no more. The Valanciunas is not there no more.
They got Steven Adams.
They got Steve Adams down there. You know, he a rough rider.
That is true. I did
think he got like 16 rebounds against the Lakers. Like that.
That's a good pickup. So that's probably even better for them actually.
Yeah.
Because Steven Adams is gonna be more in the paint than Valanciunas like to shoot them middies.
And he like that, and then he needs the ball too. The Valanciunas, he needs the ball. But I like the Grizzlies pick up. You know, the Grizzlies, like you said, they got that taste. That's key, getting the taste of the playoffs. You know, you know how it is and stuff like that. So you want to get back there. I think that's what the Kings are missing to get that get the taste of the playoffs. But hey, we're gonna hope for it.
But yeah, I like De'Aaron Fox though. He underrated.
Facts.
Oh man, he looked off this year so far, but he'll come around.
He might lead the Kings to get a bigger name. You gotta hope he don't do that.
Oh no, we didn't sign him last year. He locked. Right. But you know how the NBA is, they be forcing trades nowadays.
Yeah.
Bro, then the owners be having little deals under the table.
Exactly, right? All right, cool. All right then, so we're gonna end it with the last words, all right? And then we're gonna start with you, Javon. Any last words?
You know, I had a lot of fun here. I love talking sports all the time. I do have a little side business I want to talk about. J trays, make trays. You know, you can do a lot of things with these. Put your makeup on them. You know, if you're a smoker, roll your tobacco, anything on this. But you see, I have my team, the Steelers, on there. Put any design, things like that. I have Instagram. Follow me at J Trays 2 Eyes. And yeah, thanks a lot, Joe, for having me on. I hope I can get back on another day and talk some more sports.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for having me on here. I got a sports debating app coming out. You have debates just like this on there about any sports topic you want, any sport category you want, baseball, football, soccer. You can debate with anybody else on the app about it. Right now, we having a free PS5 giveaway for anybody that subscribed to our website. You subscribe to our website, you get to enter the contest, and the app will be out real soon. I hope y'all please follow me on all my social medias. The Sports Talk app on every single one: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's the same name. Please follow me, and thanks for having me, Joe.
Awesome. All right, y'all. Thanks for being on. We'll see y'all in the next episode. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the show. Now, before we continue with the show, I need you to do a few things for me. Number one, like this video. Very easy. Click the like button. Number two, subscribe. Very easy also. Hit the subscribe button. Number three, something else is easy. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified next time we put out a video. Number four, click the share button and share it to someone who you think would like this video. And last but not least, most important, continue enjoying the show.